All right, everyone. Thank you for joining us today for how to host a virtual movie night with Lindsey Litton. I think as agents, we can all agree that there's great impact to be had in hosting client events, but they can be overwhelming. They can be expensive, a lot to plan, managing vendors, hoping that people attend, managing that event itself. And we know that power, but how do we scale it? And how do we do it in a way that feels good to us and to our clients? That there is a way that packs that same impact, and it's taking it virtually. Lindsey has a ton of experience in doing that. She was an agent herself and scaled a referral business of 55,000 families. And so obviously the results speak for themselves. She's going to show us kind of her tried and true method to building that system. As with everything, we're all about scalability, repeatability, and doing things that feel good to you. So Lindsey is going to take it away and share her knowledge with us. Lindsey, thank you for being here today.
Yeah, thank you, Kate. I appreciate it. And I just want to give Kate some props. I met Kate and she was so much about providing value to the agents that her brokerage serves. So, Kate, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it. And yeah, I'm just wanting you guys to get a lot of value out of today. So, Brian, Jeff, great to have you on the call. Please feel free to unmute as we cruise through this. This is going to be like an intimate coaching session for you guys. And I'm here just so that you guys walk away with value. But more importantly, as a business strategy coach, I want you guys to walk away with a actionable step you can take towards hosting your first virtual event. All right, so let's see here. I'm gonna start sharing screen. Oh. All right, is it working? Yes. Okay, good. I'm going to switch to slideshow view. Look at this old. Yes. All right, good. So, yes, as Kate mentioned, we're going to be talking about hosting a virtual movie night. More importantly, we're going to be talking about how to leverage a virtual event so that you walk away with referrals. I coach agents all over the country, and a lot of the agents that I work with, they're like, I'm doing events. I host a client appreciation event. I do these things and I get zero referrals. So we're going to talk about the framework that you need to make sure that you have behind the event so that you're walking away with closed business. So again, I'm big on ROI. When I do something in my business, I want to make sure that it's got a 3x return. So if you decide to host an event, I want to make sure that you're getting at least 3 closed referrals from that event. So that's going to be our key performance indicator that I want you to keep in mind as you think about the event that you want to plan. And before we jump into the framework, there's 10 points that we're going to talk about on the framework. I want to give you guys a little bit of background as to who's teaching you. I'm Lindsey, and I was an active duty military spouse. My husband just retired out of the Air Force Academy, so we call Colorado Springs home. I got into real estate in 2014 as an active duty military spouse with 2 babies. I remember everyone telling me it was the most ridiculous decision I've ever made. And I proved them wrong my first year. I closed 3 million my first year. I doubled production every year. And by year 4, I had sold 120 houses in San Antonio, Texas. Ask me about some DR Horton. I know all about it. We moved to Colorado Springs with my husband's military career, and that's when I launched my online referral network. So you'll hear me talk about Mill Housing Network. That was my previous business, and that was the business where we hosted our virtual movie nights. And I was putting together this presentation yesterday. I was telling Kate, it got me teary-eyed because I miss it so much. It was so much fun. I've got so many pictures from our events. I'm really excited about today's presentation. Our network not only connected military families all over the country with pre-screened realtors, but we closed over 200 million in closed referrals. So I know a few things about sending referrals, so feel free to ask me questions on that too. I am now a business strategist coach, so this is my 3rd business. I now coach and work with agents all over the country that are looking to develop not only their own business, but multiple streams of income because it's one of my favorite things to talk about. All right, so let's talk about events. Gina shared with us before we got on the call that she has hosted a client event. She hosted a crab boil. No, I'm saying that wrong. Is that wrong, Gina? It was a boil.
It was crawfish. The
Crawfish. I
crawfish,
was like, I know
it was
it's
a
not
crawfish
crab.
boil from Louis. I brought in like I had flown in actually crawfish, I guess, from Louisiana, and I did a and this is when I was in Wilmington, North Carolina. So it doesn't get much further away from New Orleans and Louisiana than Wrightsville Beach in Wilmington, North Carolina. So yeah, but
I
it was
love that. So Gina has hosted a client event. Anybody else on the call that's hosted a client event? And Kate, you can help me with this on the chat. So if you don't want to come off mute and talk about it, post it in the chat. Jeff, you came off mute. Have you hosted a client event?
Yeah, I did a Durham Bulls event, baseball game event, and it was pretty good. I didn't get any referrals though out of
Ooh,
it, so I must have done something wrong.
we'll talk about it. I love that. Okay. So two folks on this call have hosted in-person client events. I am going to ask you to reevaluate your client event strategy when we talk about virtual events. And so I'm going to give you some context. We too, as a real estate team and referral network, used to host in-person events, and then COVID hit. I remember we were planning our movie night. So we used to rent out the movie theater, have all the clients come, and we'd host a movie. Well, when COVID hit, nobody was going anywhere. And I remember looking at my business partner and thinking, like, okay, so now what do we do? It was a creative pivot moment that launched our virtual movie nights. So we said, well, what if we did our movie night, but we did it virtually? And the cool part about that was not only could we invite people in our local area, but we had clients that were moving out of our local area all over the place. So this allowed us to connect with our clients on a bigger level. So not all client events have to be hosted in person. That's the reevaluation piece. Now, key piece that I want to bring up. Obviously, the game has shifted since COVID. In person, people are craving in person, okay? So I think there's an opportunity to do a blend of in-person and virtual events, and between the two, you actually are getting like the inertia of connecting with people. So I just want to give that disclaimer that do not, if you're hosting in person, awesome, keep doing that. Virtual can be a complement to your event strategy. So let's talk about why the virtual event works. I kind of mentioned a little bit of the things that we experienced, but a lot of our clients, being military, were in markets all over the place. We had clients in Guam, we had clients in Germany, we had folks in Korea. We couldn't connect with them in San Antonio if they weren't in the local area. So the virtual event actually allowed us to curate a larger community and connect with clients all over the world. So if you've got a big database of folks that are all over the place, or maybe you've got a database of folks that are like, well, we would love to get connected, but they're a little bit introverted and in person seems intimidating, a virtual event can be scalable and repeatable. We're also going to talk about costs because your virtual event can be really cost effective. So let's talk about the goals. Okay. When you host an event, I want you to start with what are my goals for hosting the event? So Jeff, you mentioned hosting your in-person event, and unfortunately there was no closed referrals from the event. So if when you're planning your event, you go into it with, I will generate X amount of referrals from this event, that allows you to keep it top of mind and incorporate that into your entire strategy. So our goal with hosting the virtual movie night was a couple things. We wanted to stay top of mind. We wanted to deepen the relationship with our clients. We want to generate referrals because we all are in the lead gen business. And, most importantly, when COVID hit, we wanted to create a sense of community for people that felt disconnected. So that was kind of the goal of why we started the client events. Throughout the presentation, I've got all these little snippets from all the different movies we hosted, and it was so fun to pull all this together. So I'll talk about some of the movies. Like the little box car was a craft we did for our drive-in movie night. So we again created an experience. I'll talk about how to create an experience with your event, because conceptually, a virtual movie night sounds kind of boring if all you guys are going to do is watch a movie together, and I'll talk about that. But if you turn it into an experience that leads up to the virtual movie night, it turns into something so much more. Like this lady, Ona, her kids created these little box cars and posted photos and tagged us. And then her Facebook friends were like, what is this? And that grew our Facebook group. So then it expanded beyond just our client circle. All right, so step one, I told you as we started this, there's going to be 10 points. And I had chat create a worksheet. So at the end of this, I've got a QR code to get into my Facebook group where I'll give you guys the worksheet. So you guys can just print it out, fill it out to host your first virtual event. But step number one, when you're thinking about hosting an event, is who are your clients? We're looking for patterns here, okay? So who are your clients? What do they enjoy? Are they family people? Are they young family? Are they older family? Are these empty nesters? Are these professionals? Are these stay-at-home moms? Are these Peloton moms? Like, who are your people? And you might have a diverse group of people. I have some clients that I coach when we think about implementing this strategy into their business. They've got a diverse database. One of my clients, Tulio Pena, he's here in Colorado Springs. He started using the virtual movie nights as a part of his event strategy. And when we started setting this up for his business, he said, okay, well, Linz, I've got some like empty nesters. I've got older kid families. I've got young kid families. I've got some military. I've got some professionals. Well, we decided the virtual movie night made sense for him. And we'll talk about how important it is when you pick the movie. So we kept it on kid-focused movies. And he has like older folks that join in. So just looking for overarching patterns when you think about designing your event. So step one, know your audience. Step two, we want to pick a theme, okay? Movie night. It's probably the easiest one, and I'll walk you through what movie night looks like. I've had some clients do a virtual wine tasting. So they give their clients the menu of wine to go out and either purchase on their own or, again, they worked with wineries to ship it legally. But again, it's creating that experience in their home. One of my clients did a paint night. So this was actually during the height of COVID. So they actually put together paint kits, put them in a box, shipped them to all their clients, and then they had an artist come on Zoom and show them how to paint and create this experience in their home. So let me walk you through what virtual movie night looked like for our team. So again, all about creating experience. And this is where I get the most questions because people are like, well, do you like Zoom the movie? Like, how are we watching the movie? What does that look like? Okay. So I'll walk you through all of that, but let me give you an overarching synopsis of what movie night looks like. So we create a Facebook group. We'll talk about that in a hot minute. We invite people into the Facebook group, and that's where all the engagement happens, is in the Facebook group. We then pick a date and a time for the movie. This is key. I learned this one the hard way. It's important to pick a streaming movie that is free. The first movie we did was Trolls 2, and we didn't know that you had to buy the movie, and it was $20. And while that might not seem like a lot of money, keep in mind my audience was active duty military families. $20 for them was like, yeah, no. So guess who had to buy a lot of Amazon gift cards right before the movie night, okay? This girl right here. So my suggestion is pick a streaming service like Amazon or Netflix, pick a free movie, make sure the movie's going to be free when you host the movie night, because I've learned that one too. And then you say, all right, December 2nd at 6 o'clock, we're going to watch Elf. So get ready. You're going to get your snack box. We're going to have fun games and things happening in the face group leading up to it. And get ready to push play on your streaming service at 6 o'clock on December 2nd. So that, in a nutshell, is kind of how the virtual movie night works. And I'll walk you through all the other things. All right. How it works, why it works is also really important. Again, our audience was young military families all over the world. We wanted to create an experience in their home. So there's a couple components as to why this works. We picked a family-friendly theme. So we always pick G-rated movies for the most part. It was easy to participate. All people had to do was go to our Facebook group, register to get one of our snack boxes, and we'll talk about that in a minute, and then engage in the Facebook group come movie night time. And then we created a series of really cool experiences leading up to the movie. So it was like by the time movie night hit, people were just like, oh my gosh, like this is so amazing. Like I'm ready to go. And then we created like trivia and prizes to give away during movie night. We had so much engagement. So this one right here is our Hocus Pocus movie night that we did. We had so much engagement during Hocus Pocus that Facebook shut down our Facebook group. They thought our Facebook group was a spam group because there were so many comments and things and people were adding, like Facebook shut us down. That's the power of the virtual events. Okay, so step number 3, we've got to create an experience, okay? Logging in and watching Hocus Pocus at 6 o'clock at a certain time isn't an experience. We've got to create something out of nothing. And I think this has been the funnest part of honestly doing these events. I was telling Kate before I got on, I miss doing these because they were so much fun. My kids got into it. My kids would help like picking the movie and then my kids would dress up. It was just so much fun. So the experience is what we're creating in people's homes. So part of the experience is that we created these snack boxes themed to the movie, okay? I'm going to talk to you about the service that I used to create the snack box, and then I'm going to talk to you about how it got so out of hand that my assistant in Vegas had her own shipping label because we were sending out like literally 1,000 snack boxes once this thing blew up. Yeah. So it started out with Trolls 2, and we had 25 people RSVP for our movie night. Most of my clients have anywhere from 25 to 50 people RSVP and get a snack box, okay? So Tulio's hosting a movie night this weekend. He's got, I think, 56 people registered. His team has built these snack boxes in Mailbox Power, and I'm going to give you guys a QR code if you guys wanted to do a virtual event, which I highly encourage you to do. You can just build all of this in Mailbox Power. Mailbox Power ships it out for you, and people get their snack boxes. So that's how we initially did this, is we just created these little snack boxes that were themed. It had a card, it had a couple brownies, some popcorn, and folks got their little snack box. You wouldn't think that that little snack box would turn into like this like really cool, sensational thing happening on social media, but it did. So we would have, so you can see here, like Amanda posted Trolls 2 put on by your realtors that helped us sell their treat boxes. So people get really good into this when you send them something and create an experience, and then they share it on their social. And when they share it on their social, people then are like, who is this realtor? What are they doing? This sounds kind of cool. I want in on this. And that's how it grew from 25 to at the height, we had over 2,000 military families tuning into our movie nights. Yeah, I know. It got out of hand real fast. So again, we had costume contests. I don't think I put the thing in here, but I always was like the head cheerleader. So I dressed up like Lady Glitter Sparkles for Troll 2. My kids were trolls. We really like got into it. Tulio, he dresses up for his movie night. So he did one where he dressed up like, what was it? There's been several Moana. He dressed up like the guy in Moana and had the fake tattoos, and like his clients were like, we just remember you and the fun that you have. And even though we, have never worked with you, we'd love to send our friends your way. That's the other cool part when you create an experience. Okay, so step number 4. For your first event, I highly recommend working with a service to send out your snack boxes. You can do it cheaper on your own, okay? But it is so freaking time consuming. So you guys are high-performing real estate agents that don't need to be packing and putting stickers on snack boxes. I would highly recommend working with a service like Mailbox Power to create this. So this is an example of our movie night that we did for Trolls. So we worked with Mailbox Power to send out, invites. So this was an invite that we sent out to all of our clients. And then when they registered, so again, we've got to create an RSVP for people to register for their snack box. That's also your opportunity to update your database. So we asked for their email confirmation, their cell phone confirmation, and their address. And guess what, folks? If their address has shifted since when you sold them their house, that's a conversation you need to have with folks. Hey, what's shifted? What's happening? Right? An opportunity to touch base with folks. So when they registered, the snack boxes went out. It was easy. Then the photos started rolling in on social media, and I knew that's when the snack boxes were hitting mailboxes. We asked them, in the Facebook group, hey, hold on to your snack box. Make it a surprise for the kiddos, at movie night. That way we can all eat our snacks together. Step number 5, again, all of the engagement happens in the Facebook community. So we created a Facebook community called Mill Housing Network Movie Nights. It just started out with clients, but as the hype grew, non-clients started getting added into the group. And we were like, wow, okay, this is really turning into a thing. Per movie night, we were getting anywhere from 25 to 30 referrals from new folks joining the group. So the group is a great way to keep people engaged, and it's a great way to have conversation around buying and selling a home as a part of the experience. And I'll give you an example of that, okay? So in the Facebook group, we would create all of these events, and this was all leading up to movie night, right? So I would create these charcuterie boards. This sounds so funny, and I was giggling at the pictures. But I would just make up stuff. Like this was one of the charcuterie boards, these little rockets that I made over here that these clients made. So what I would do is I would go Facebook Live and I would create some sort of craft, and I would show them how to put together a charcuterie board or these little rockets for their kiddos so that they could, again, create these experiences in their home during the virtual event. So then in the Facebook group, if you were in the group, you would get the Facebook Live. Well, here's what I would do during the live, okay? I'd be rolling up salami talking about, hey, who's thinking about buying or selling a house this month? Or are you thinking about making a move this year? If so, drop a house in the comments so that I get connected with you. Okay, now moving on to the cheddar cheese. That's how I tied it in. So Jeff, to your point, this is how I was leading up to getting all of the referrals, is I just asked for the business throughout the experience. So I'd ask for it in my Facebook Lives. We would also ask for it in the Facebook group. I think I've got some examples of that here in a little bit as well. So again, experience. Now, if I am overwhelming you, ask me how many times in my life people have told me I am a lot. You don't have to do all of these things. I am showing you the Rolls Royce of what we created over time. The simplest part of all of this is just thinking about step 1, would this strategy make sense? Step 2, what type of event? And then how to create a Facebook group with a very simple strategy. And then it builds upon as you grow this out. Okay. You'll also see here that I've got cocktails with Caliber. Well, Caliber is a national lender. They used to be a national lender. They were bought by New Res. I'm going to talk about how to get your entire event paid for, and you might even make a little bit of money on it.
Quick question, Lindsay. Jeff unmuted, so I just wanted to see. Jeff, do you have a question?
Well, yeah, actually, I have a couple.
Yeah, go for it, Jeff.
All right. Well, so when you create your Facebook group, I mean, how do? You just call, okay, hey, I'm creating a group for this event, and then it grows and continues to be for future events, and what do you call it?
Well, if my real estate company was Jeff Peterson, okay, I would call
Right.
it the Jeff Peterson Virtual Event Group. I would keep it simple and broad. And
Okay.
you can always update the name of the group if you decide to just turn it into virtual events or whatnot. Some of my clients have it could be clients of, VIP clients of Jeff Peterson or the Jeff Peterson client group. That would be generic enough so that you could also, if this was something you were going to do, once a year, you could also have hey, this is what's going on in the local area, and here's some open house. You could create the Facebook group so that it's not just built for the event, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, and you initially, I think you said you initially invited clients, but then you branched out to invite a whole bunch of other folks. Did you find that your clients were inviting people to come onto it as well?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you launch your first one and it's a success, the number one thing most people want to do is go and tell their friends. And when they're sharing things on, their social, like, look what my real estate agent did, and look at my little kiddos dressed up like hocus pocus, and they won a $50
Mhm.
Starbucks card or whatever, and they're sharing that on social. Naturally, people are like, who is this, and what is this, and how can I get my kiddos in it? And so that's kind of how it grew. We weren't even advertising it. It was our
Yeah.
clients that were going out and sharing it.
Cool. Now, do you think you could do it for a sporting event?
I think you could.
Because
Yeah.
I was thinking, why not? Because, I'm a golfer and I do stuff for golf communities. I've got a bunch of friends. I was saying, why wouldn't I do something for the Masters or
Yep.
something? And
Yes.
that's a live TV event, so I wouldn't even have to,
Yeah.
have everybody stream it.
Yep. And I'll talk about like what to do in the Facebook group. So let's say you do the masters, right? And you're like, hey, just make sure you're in the Facebook group and you've got it, logged in while we're watching it together. And
Hmm.
you're posting in there, you're engaging with folks, you do some random giveaways. It could be like, you could have some trivia about what you guys are watching together. Hey, did you know the Masters started in, I don't know, I'm not a golfer, like 1747? I don't know, whatever. Like you've got some stuff going on to keep people engaged
Yeah.
in the group
Hmm.
and having conversation. And here's the cool part: the more engagement you have in that Facebook group, that tells the algorithm to pop that group up for people in the group. So now people are seeing your content. So it's even more important after your event to start asking for the referrals, because now it's popping up in everybody's timeline.
Cool. All right. Thanks.
Yeah, absolutely.
I have another few quick questions. One of them is obviously, ideally, as you start your business, you are inviting your clients into your Facebook group
Mhm.
upon closing. But let's say that you haven't done that. And so you've created this Facebook group and you want to add them retroactively. Would you recommend just like sending a postcard and an email and saying, like, here's your invite and scan with a QR code? Or how would you recommend people do that?
Give them a reason of value to join the group. Nobody wants to join just your real estate agents groups. Let me like position it this way. Do you guys want to join my Lindsey Litton coaching group if there's no value statement in it? Probably not. But if I say, hey, I'm going to have a worksheet after this that walks you through how to set up your first virtual movie night by joining my Facebook group, you guys are probably going to scan the QR code and want to get into the group. So if you're retroactively adding people into the groups, think about like what value. So hosting a virtual event and saying, hey, all the information for the virtual event is going to be in the group, so join the group, you're going to have a higher adoption rate.
And then my other question you might get to later, but I know obviously these are for virtual events, but you want to keep people engaged. Actually, I do have two questions. What are you posting in the group in the
Uh-huh.
in-between so that
Uh-huh.
you keep that momentum, but also aren't annoying? If you answer that later,
Yeah.
I totally
I'll
get
hit
it.
on that. I'll hit on that in a minute. Yep.
Okay. And then in terms of structuring the Facebook group, this is my other question. You said people were adding to the group. Did you have it as a private group and so they had to request to join? Um,
Yes.
but anyone could like send it to them to request to join? And if so, did you have any of the registration type questions? And if so, what were they?
Oh my God, such a good question. And I'm glad you asked that. Okay. So all of my Facebook group strategies, and I have a course, I've taught at brokerages, I've spoken about Facebook groups. So let me tell you, I have a core philosophy with Facebook groups. I like to create private groups because private groups allow you to ask 3 strategic questions upon requesting to join. Okay. I believe those 3 questions are key to build your database. Okay. And I'm going to talk about how. So, when I created my Facebook groups, we started with 0 because everybody starts at 0. And over the course of 5 years, we got up to 55,000 in our Facebook groups. And I grew my database by 45,000 because of those 3 questions. So, one of the questions has to be a question of value that gets someone to give their email address, right? So it could be, hey, I want to give you top 10 restaurants in my local area. Pop in your email address and we'll send that over. The second question, again, collecting contact information, build that database, thinking about how to get their phone number. 75% of people will give you their email on average, 75 to 85% will give you their email. Phone number is about 45 to 50, maybe even a less, because nobody wants to give out their phone number for spammy type information. So think about your audience who's joining the group. One of the questions that we asked, because we knew our audience loves free stuff. Like our audience would kill for $10 at Starbucks. So we just put it in there. We said, hey, if you give us your email address or your phone number, we do a once a month giveaway in the group and we text the winner. Give us your phone number. That's how we got phone numbers. And then the last question we used as a lead qualifier. So it was for us, hey, do you have an upcoming move in the next 12 months? If so, where are you headed? Now I've got their name, their email, their phone, and if they're a lead. That's how I grew my referral database.
Brilliant.
There is software. So now you're thinking, oh my gosh, like I've got to like screenshot and like copy and paste all that. There is software. I use a software called Group Convert. There's better software out there, full transparency. This allows you to use the software to scrape all the contact information that those questions people fill out for those questions. It puts it into a Google spreadsheet. I had the Google spreadsheet set up with the Zapier integration to get sent into my database. That's how I grew my database on automation. I was adding anywhere from 200 to 250 people into my database every single week through my Facebook groups. Yeah. So the software is key as you scale, and there's a couple others that are better. I got in at the ground level of Group Convert. It is clunky, but it still works. I still use it on my Facebook groups today.
Very cool. Thank you for sharing all that.
Of course. Yeah. Oh, Facebook strategy could be a whole nother course, Kate. Really can. Okay. So step number 6, it's important that you use something to collect contact information. So as we just talked about, getting into the Facebook group collects a certain amount of contact information. But let's say you have an existing group that you're wanting to just deploy the strategy in. You're going to want to collect contact information so that people can register to get their snack boxes. Okay. So we used Google Forms. It wasn't anything fancy. We just had a Google form. Like I mentioned earlier on, we would collect their updated address, email, phone number. We had a question on there that was like, hey, do you have an upcoming move? So again, asking for the business again. And so then we could potentially get leads from people just registering to get the snack boxes. So I mentioned earlier on, like it got out of hand where we had thousands of snack boxes. This is a picture from my assistant's dining room where she put together all the snack boxes for our movie night. We literally had a post office like delivery service that would come and pick up all the snack boxes and load them into the truck. They ended up running into our garage from loading up so many snack boxes and just sending the snack boxes out. Guys, it was Costco candy. It wasn't anything magical or amazing. Again, it was just the experience. Like we had pretty tissue paper. They were themed. So if we did Hocus Pocus, we had like, eyeballs and, we had like, a witch's, I think we had like a little finger, that was chocolate that was in there. So it was just themed, but it was Costco candy. And we had people fighting to get the Costco candy because we created limited spots. So we said, hey, we've got 500 gift boxes going out. If you want a gift box, make sure you have this time. Everything was an experience in the group. So it was like when we released the snack box, it was FOMO by the time we released the snack box. And it was like gearing up towards it. It was like a week before. Snack boxes are releasing next Wednesday at noon. Make sure you're ready. And people, like women, like especially because again, these are military spouses just hanging out with their kiddos all day. They would be sitting there refreshing. We would start getting direct messages like, I didn't get a snack box. And it was Costco candy, guys. So it wasn't anything magical. We just turned it into an experience. Let's talk about how to get your event paid for. I am a big fan of partnering with vendors to get your events paid for. You've probably seen on my snack boxes, even the first one, we've had sponsors. So we incorporated sponsors from the get-go. The mailbox power boxes, depending on what you put in them, they can be anywhere from 20 to 50 bucks if you pimp out your box. So we wanted to bring in a sponsor to help offset all of that. So we sponsored with some of our lender friends, some of our title companies. We talked to inspectors. We had an insurance company. We had Armed Forces Insurance was one of our big sponsors. And, for your first event, we were just looking at getting our costs paid for. By the time we had, 2,000 families fighting for Costco candy, we were making some money on our events with our sponsors because they wanted to get that visibility in front of our audience. So when you're thinking about getting something sponsored, think about what are the brands and or companies that would want to get in front of this audience that I've curated. And so for us, we would do sponsored, like you saw in one of the things, we had a sponsored cocktail. One of the items that we would list on the sponsorship packages is they could host a Facebook Live where they could create a cocktail with our audience and talk about their product or service. So again, it wasn't a lender getting on and yipper-yappering about rates. It was a lender saying, hey, I'm going to show you how to make a witch's brew cocktail. And I'm going to talk to you about what's happening with rates, or if you're thinking about a move, we were incorporating it so it didn't sound like a sales pitch. Because who the heck wants to go to a Facebook Live and listen to a lender chit chat about rates and how to use their VA home loan? Not a lot of people. So we helped our lender friends get more from the sponsorship by creating and incorporating them into the experience. We had one of the lenders would dress up, and we did what was it? It was a Halloween movie, and she dressed up and she had this whole I was like, oh my gosh, she's making me look bad. It was really awesome. Okay, referral strategy. I've alluded to it, but now let's talk about it. So the reason why you don't get referrals from your client events is because you don't ask. So it's just as simple as that. Again, as you plan out the goals for your event, I want you to think about all the multiple communications that you have leading up to the event, the communication that you're going to have during the event, and the communication you have after the event. And you want to layer in your ask at all points of communication. So this is an example of one of the things that we did in our group. Our group had a lot of giveaways. So we would do, hey, if you've got a friend that's looking to move, tag them, and you could win a shirt and this cute little cup and cutting board. Again, everything that we did was create an experience in your house. I wasn't going to talk about this, but I'll point this out. We actually, it got so crazy. We created our own t-shirt line, and people could buy themed t-shirts with the movie that we were doing. I know. That was one of our that Sanderson Sister one that we created actually got a lot of purchases. Talk about brand name, hashtag my movie night was on every single t-shirt, and people would take pictures in it and post it all over social. So the referral strategy, huge. We're not hosting events just to be an event planner. We're hosting events so that it drives our business. So during the event, I think I alluded to this, Jeff, when we talked, we would create engagement in the Facebook group. So here's a couple of examples of some things that we would do is we would create trivia. So every 10 minutes, we would post a trivia question while the movie was going on. So let's say the movie was 90 minutes. We would be, every 10 minutes asking a trivia question. Based on the response to the trivia questions, we'd give something away. So again, this was another contribution from our sponsors. Our sponsor money allowed us to give away, more snack boxes. It allowed us to give away a Yeti cooler, allowed us to give away Stanley cups, gift cards. Gift cards were huge for my audience. My audience loves Starbucks. So, $25 to Starbucks, they were adding 47 friends to my Facebook group and selling out their kids so that they could go get their Starbucks. Know your audience and what they would like and gear the prizes and gifts towards that. We also would ask for referrals and for testimonials. So not only would we ask for the referrals, but during the engagement of the event, we would say, hey, go to Google, write us a review. Every review is $5 to Starbucks. So it was our opportunity to boost up our reviews, which, as you guys know, as real estate agents, only helps you in your online presence. We would incentivize for photo sharing. So we created a hashtag. It was hashtag MHN movie night. Anytime somebody shared a photo, we'd say, hey, hashtag us, you could win a prize. So that was incentivizing them to go out and be our brand ambassadors. And that's what helped us grow the group and the engagement even bigger. Because one of our big questions with our sphere of influence is, hey, I love so much working with you guys. Who do you know that's thinking about buying or selling a house? This was just an easy way to get exposure to their friends and family. And step number 10, your post-engagement follow-up. So after the event's over, I think Kate, this is where I wanted to address it. Now that, the event's done, we're all good, everybody's gotten their thank yous, there's been a referral reminder. I used to go Facebook Live after the event and say, hey, we can't do these movie nights without your help. Please, if you've got a family that's looking to buy or sell a home, tag them, share them, DM them. We would love to serve them, right? So I just made the ask part of the culture in the marketing. The what to do to keep the momentum going is a really cool part, which is point number 4. This is where I would tease the next event. So this is what keeps FOMO alive and keeps everybody excited and engaged in my group. Is I would finish a group, I would finish movie night, and I would say, our next movie night is happening we did 4 movie nights a year. So we did 4 a year. I would say, hey, our next one's happening at this time. Please stay engaged in the group for when we're going to release snack boxes, when we're going to talk about what movie it is. Like, people would get so crazy trying to guess what movie we're going to do because they wanted to be part of the experience. And then to keep the group alive, we would just be asking questions. We'd post questions about movies. We'd say, like, what's your favorite movie to watch? What's your favorite romance? So that's kind of how you keep the group alive in between events. And then, at our hype, it pretty much felt like we'd end one event and just roll right into the next. We'd start talking about hey, we're doing drive-in movie night. And now we did ET, which, let me also say, some movies work and some movies don't. ET, people didn't really love ET. Hocus Pocus, that one, hands down, people are crazy for Hocus Pocus. So picking a movie that's, generally a popular movie also makes a big difference. Okay, this is where I want you guys to stop listening and actually take action, okay? So come off mute, tell me if you are planning on incorporating a virtual event into your strategy in this next year. So 2026, are you going to be incorporating a virtual event into your strategy? Nobody's coming off mute. Everybody's like, no.
Sure. Why not? It sounds like it's more cost effective than renting out an entire screen for a couple of hours, and probably will increase the likelihood of, people actually showing up instead of renting out the space and then having life happen and get in the way and they not show up and you've got, a theater full of empty seats.
Yeah. And the cool part about this, Gina, is you don't have to leave your house. Lady Glitter Sparkles came alive 10 minutes before to get on Facebook Live. I didn't have to drive anywhere or do anything, so it was awesome for that reason too.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone
who doesn't
else?
enjoy sitting at home in your pajamas watching something,
Yeah. Well, I will tell you, during movie night, I did not watch the movie. I was on that Facebook group like a crazy person. And when our movie nights were really big, after the movie night, I would tell my assistant, I'd be like, okay, tomorrow's an off day because we need to recoup. Jeff, are you in?
Yeah, I'm just trying to. I am. I'm gonna do something for the Masters. I couldn't figure out what I want to do. I've been thinking when I saw your event show up that Kate sent out. I thought, that might be a really good way to do something like that. Because I thought about just having people go out and choose different players and different things, and we can still do that as part of it. So I'm just trying to figure out what all things I want to incorporate in it. But I think. the key thing that I'm getting from you is A, it's possible, but B is I got to come with the energy like you seem to come with. So I think that makes a big difference.
Jeff, I have a few ideas for you. I was thinking this when you were talking earlier of like one, if you did a costume contest in terms of like the old school golf outfits,
Oh
that could be
yeah.
Payne
one, or
Stewart.
like
You've got
pick
to
your
have a Payne
favorite.
Stewart contest.
What'd you say, Gina?
I said have a Payne Stewart contest.
Yeah,
If
the plus
you
fours.
yeah, oh,
Like
yeah.
pick your favorite player and dress like them, like a look-alike contest or a giveaway
Oh,
to win your favorite golf balls because every golf player has like their favorite type. And so you could just, that could be one of the incentives. I don't know. I,
Yeah,
I really
yeah.
like that idea though, Jeff, in general, like so much. And it's so
The
you. And I think
lookalike,
that's kind of the
Called.
the
perfect
lookalike
example.
contest could really be good.
What'd you
yeah.
say?
It's too bad Craig Stadler's still not playing. It'd be fun to have someone do him.
My
If you're
husband,
not, you probably don't know it. They call him the walrus, so you could have somebody dress up in a walrus costume or something.
yes, I love that. My husband said the
You know,
other
and
night, he was
I
like,
could, I could actually still do that because he actually won the Masters one time.
there you go. I costume contests is people get into it. It's hilarious. Like adults, like we had this one woman that dressed up like Frozen. We did Frozen for one of our movie nights, and she came on Facebook Live and sang. And it was like she did this whole Elsa thing. It was like,
Oh,
what
wow.
is this? This is amazing. People get into it.
Yeah, I probably won't sing.
I'm not gonna sing for you either. Just FYI.
I
um,
don't work with clients anymore, really, but I do try to generate referrals. So it has gotten my wheels turning of like, is this something that I would want to take
yeah.
on? Because there's so much potential for it.
So it as I was putting this together again, like this was probably one of my favorite things in my referral network. And we closed 200 million in referrals. I sold that business. I was part of the 17% that sold it. Take all of that aside, all that coolness aside, I missed the movie nights. They were so fun. They were just, and so I was thinking about it yesterday. I was like, I need to recreate this in my new business. So I've got an idea. You got to be in my Facebook group. So I'm going to give you the QR code to get in my Facebook group. But I'm going to launch a virtual event for my coaching clients, and I think it's going to be really fun.
Cute.
How
I love
much
it.
lead time do you need to before your event to get it started?
Ooh, we talk about that actually in my worksheet. At a minimum, 45 days. I would say more like 90 days would be my preference, especially if you really want to knock it out of the park and you don't have support. That's the other thing. So we had literally somebody by the time we got to the, higher level of the movie nights, somebody's whole job was to just do movie nights. And my job was just to show up and be Lady Glitter Sparkles, which is what I wanted to do and which I do best, right? So my job was to show up, do all the Facebook Lives. My job wasn't to set up the group and keep the group engaged. That was Kayla's job. Kayla went in, created all the content, kept everybody engaged in the group. So at a minimum, I would say 90 days. At a maximum 90 days, at a minimum 45 days, if you're going to do like your first event and it's just kind of,
Mhm.
we're going to start with 10, 15 people.
All right,
This
thanks.
This is the 2 QR codes I would recommend you scan. Number 1, join my Facebook group. I'm going to be hosting my first virtual event in there. I think it's going to be really fun. So if you want to experience one, definitely join my group. I'm also going to put the worksheet from that I mentioned earlier of, print it, fill it out for your first virtual event. I'm going to stick that in the Facebook group. And Kate is so sweet. She's going to allow me to take this recording. So I'm going to throw it in my group. I know y'all get your recording too. So, and then if you want to throw together a snack box, again, I highly recommend not sitting in your house packing snacks. Mailbox Power is where I would start. And we not only used Mailbox Power for, the postcards, the invites, and the snack boxes, but we also used it for our home anniversary gifts. We used it for birthday brownies. There's a lot of things that we incorporated with Mailbox Power that was put into automation so that we didn't have to think about it. So one of my clients, Tulio Pena, he again uses Mailbox Power for his movie nights, but he also uses it for his clients' birthdays. He's like, Lindsey, it's the best thing ever. I'll be at a listing appointment. I get a text message with somebody opening their birthday brownies. He's like, I didn't even know it was their birthday. He's like, it's awesome. And I was like, I know, awesome. Get those referrals, Tulio. Referrals, referrals, referrals. So, Kate, was this good? Was this helpful?
Oh my gosh, it was incredible. I always knew that this would be a great training, but I love how actionable it is and every single detail you covered. And it's also just so creative. I think there's something for everyone. So thank you so much for sharing your knowledge with us. I endlessly appreciate it. And also, I didn't say this on the front end, but I'm so glad we got connected.
Yeah.
JC Dykes, one of our agents, had used you and had been working with you, and she hosted her own movie night. And so shameless plug, but we always love getting connected with the people that our agents are in business with. So I appreciate your time. And as always, to all of our agents, if there's someone that we should know, please make that connection because, uh, yeah, it's all so valuable. But wow, Lindsay, thank you so much for your time. I
Yes.
endlessly appreciate it.
Absolutely. And I can hang out for a couple minutes if folks have other questions. But Kate, thank you so much for today. This is fun.
Of course, I'm sure this is not what you want. I was going to email this to you, but in my mind, I was thinking, gosh, you could create a whole business on its own of like done for you movie nights. Obviously, the agents have to show up and dress up and engage. But gosh, you guys have a system down. You could practically make it a package if you haven't already.
So it's coming.
Brilliant. It makes sense.
I would love to talk with you about it. I've got a little project in the works. It's actually a complete operating system for your entire business, and movie nights is one component.
Brilliant. You heard it here first, y'all. We'll stay on for another minute or two. If you have questions, let us know.
Thank you so much. This has been very helpful and knowledgeable. And now I've just got to kind of figure out what I want to do. But thank you very much. I
You're
appreciate
welcome, Dina.
it. Okay, y'all take care.
Thanks for participating.
Thank you, Lindsay. This was fabulous. Now I got to get to work
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
because
And
I only
share.
I only have about 30 days before the master, so I got to do something quick.
Oh, you could just put together a Facebook group and a costume contest. And if you did those two things, I think it could be brilliant.
I think that'll work. Yeah. Awesome.
Uh-huh.
All right. Thank you.
You're
Thanks.
welcome.
All righty. Thanks for joining us today. Lindsay, I will email you after this, but I endlessly appreciate your time.
Of course. I'm glad we got connected. Thanks, Kate.
Likewise. Have a wonderful day. Talk to you soon.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.